Welcome to The Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with your host, Charlie Butler. This is where you'll learn to sell your home quickly and for more money. And now, the host of The Real Estate Show, the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler.
You are listening to the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show. I'm Charlie Butler, here with, if you think I'm going to say you, here with our producer, Bobby G, and with the lovely Evie Barr.
Good morning, Charlie. I just wanted to put a smile on your face so our listeners knew you were having a good time already.
We were just talking about last Sunday. We probably had a whole different listenership because people who had forgot to set their clocks back.
Yes.
They were, I don't know what's on after Rush, honestly.
Yeah.
The Colts. People were tuning in. That's right.
Yeah.
People were tuning in for the Colts and heard us. They go, my God, the Colts have got so bad they put this on the air.
If we could turn back time, right?
And you were going to sing that. Am I correct?
No.
Okay.
But thanks for trying.
Okay. That's not what happened on your date, was it? Were you saying? Oh,
my poor dating life.
Moving right along, huh?
And, if it ever takes a turn for the better, I probably will not even let you know.
If it takes a turn for the better, I'll start looking for the ring, the ring line on your left hand. It takes a turn for that much better, huh? Yeah, Leslie.
No comment on that.
Yes. Bobby, not Bob, but Dave will take credit for it.
Yes, I'm sure he will. And if he is the one that gets me to a good dating life, then he owes me a bottle of Fireball. How's that?
There you go. We talk about Bobby, but you almost never hear from Bobby. So Bobby is the morning guy, co-host, I guess I should say, at WJLT. Good morning, Bobby.
I'm the host, and Stacy is my co-host.
Let's keep it real. Okay. No. This does definitely sound like David. Yeah, I think I'm having deja vu with Dave and Leslie here.
There's a theme there. The guys feel like we want to feel like we're in charge because we know at home we're not in charge of anything. So when we come to work, we want to feel like we're at least driving the ship. But the truth is, the women in our lives run everything. So,
So we talked a few weeks ago about WJLT, and I know you were really excited about the progress. And I know Evie, I know you're a listener.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I'm a KDQ listener in the morning.
That's all right.
But how is it going with JLT?
We're having a blast. We think we're doing really well. We're right around 11 months or so. We launched it in December of 2016. The day after Christmas is when we officially launched playing music that we're playing now. So we're not quite a year in, and we're seeing great growth with advertisers and our listeners when we go out and do events and our interaction on social media. So it's just a matter of getting the word out and letting people know about us. And we feel that once people give us a listen and give us a try, that they're going to like what they hear and they're going to come back for more. So it's just a matter of getting that brand out there.
Right.
And letting people know that we are an option, because honestly, there's still a lot of people that don't even realize we're on the air or there is something new on 105.3.
And I guess just hit it where it's at. Your program is an alternative for Wiki.
Yeah, it's 80s, 90s, and now, and we play a lot of the music that people my age,
Evie's age,
and Evie's age, sure. The music that we grew up listening to, whether it was as kids or in middle school or high school or in some cases college. We do play some new music, some current music, but the majority of our hour is the stuff from the past, kind of that old school, right in your wheelhouse from when you were growing up. That feel-good music, when you hear it, you go, oh, yes, I remember that one. And a lot of cases, it takes you to a very specific memory. When you hear a certain song, for me at least, that's how it works. It transports me to a very specific time and place when that song was a part of my life. So that's what we try to do, and we try to give a lot of personality with our DJs on the air. And Stacy and I have a blast in the mornings. And while musically we might be similar to WIKY, I think we're different in a lot of ways as well.
I agree. I think you are. And how do I want to put this? Wiki is more about, and you guys seem to be more about the music, more about having fun. And Wiki, I'm not saying that they don't have fun in the morning, but it's like they're more about, morning news, school closings when it snows, things like that.
Scripted.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sure, they
and that's not. I mean, they obviously
well,
done a great job.
they have.
do.
I mean, they have a news department,
Right.
and they have a little bit larger staff in that regard. So they do cover news and they do cover weather a whole lot. We do play. We do give the weather every hour. And if there is breaking news that's big enough that affects everybody, we will report on it the best we can. We're partners with Eyewitness News, WEHT, so
Right.
we talk to those guys all the time, and so we're able to get a hold of them and get updates if need be. But we know that weather, especially weather, is available at the touch, on your phone. It's the first thing I see when I open my phone. It's right
Same
there on
here.
my
Right.
home screen.
Yeah.
So that type of stuff, unless it's severe weather, which we will cover if need be. But if it's just regular, everyday stuff, you can find that other places. I don't think people tune into us to hear news and weather. They tune in to hear music and to hear people having fun.
Right.
We love talking to, folks from here in the community, nonprofit organizations. I mean, we probably have close to one interview a day, it seems like, where we have a guest in talking about some sort of nonprofit event coming up, in the next coming weeks or things like that. We have our pet of the week. We have members from the Evansville Police Department in every week to play games with us, just to kind of show that they are more than just cops, that they're people too, and that
Right.
they can be silly and have fun with us. So yeah, that's what we do.
And on the music point, it is 80s, 90s, and today, which there's other stations like that. But you guys have funner songs, I think, or a different twist on the music.
Funner songs.
Funner songs.
Sure, funner
yeah.
songs. That's
Because-
actually a category that we have. It's funner.
Yes, yes. More fun.
Okay.
I like funner.
I'm from
funner.
Boonville.
Okay.
But, I know there's times where I've told Bobby, it's like, yeah, I was dancing in my office chair to Groove is in the Heart. And that's not something you're going to hear on every station.
Right.
That it's very much the 80s and 90s kids, what we listened to growing up.
Sure.
So I'm not going to lie. I like my 70s music, but I still stick
Sure,
to you guys,
sure.
even though it hasn't creeped in yet.
Absolutely.
And and Bobby, I know, and you mentioned that with the pet of the week, which Missy Mosby's in, who's been
Sure.
a guest on this show, and but you guys are also very community oriented.
Absolutely. Like I said, we have guests in several times a week, and we're very fortunate in the situation we have several radio stations down this same hallway,
Right.
that we're in now, and so we will schedule guests, and they'll come in and they'll just go down the row, and so all of our radio stations are talking to those guests on most of the time. And we're just promoting things that are going on, things that help raise money for nonprofits or just family-friendly, free events, just trying to be as local as we can and getting the word out about these things that otherwise they wouldn't be able to be promoted.
I'm assuming you lock your door when some of Leslie and Dave's guests come in, though.
Well, if they ever get rid of them or if they ever finish up with them, Dave likes to take the guests and talk to them for an hour and forget the rest of us. If we don't have shows that we're trying to do, Dave just hogs them the whole time.
Poor Bobby. The morning I did WKDQ,
Right.
and I brought in that ball of Fireball, and
Oh,
Bobby during a break walks in to get a cup of coffee that the coffee pot's in with Dave and Leslie, and Leslie starts telling him, you got to do a shot with us, you got to do a shot. And he said, okay, but just a little bit in my cup. Man, she put that whole shot
It was
in your cup.
not even a small shot glass. It was like a solo cup.
It was
It was a
red
little miniature
Solo.
red Solo
Yeah.
cup, but it was a large amount of Fireball in my coffee. I mean, I couldn't even. As soon as I put it in my face, you could get a whiff of it. So
But yeah, it's like those, and it's like the funner as Evie said earlier. What you're doing, and I translate that also to what KDQ does in the morning, because you can go someplace else and just listen to. You can go on to and listen to country or whatever you want.
Sure.
Just listen to music with nobody saying anything except commercials here and there.
it's no secret that there are lots of outlets for music these days.
Yeah.
From internet radio, music streaming services like Pandora and things like that. Of course,
Right.
there's satellite radio, but none of those offer what we offer, which is the local aspect, the personalities that you could call and talk to, the personalities that you can see at the grocery store and maybe have met them over the years, and you have actual relationships with those people you hear on the radio. And that's what we try to cultivate, is relationships with our listeners. They're not just, it's not like maybe back in the day where it's just some big voice on the radio and you never saw them or heard them. With today's age, with social media, we're interacting with listeners one-on-one every single morning. When you comment on our Facebook page, we're commenting back to you and we're sending you private messages, and it's all about forming those relationships. And so that's one thing we really strive to do, and that's what we pride ourselves on doing.
Yeah, and that's great. So that's WJLT 105.3.
That's right, my 105.3 WJLT 80s, 90s, and now.
And people are I'm sure are wondering, I thought this was a real estate show. Well, it is. So.
And what real estate show is it?
It is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show with Evie Barr. And so what's going on with you, Evie?
Butler.
And Charlie Butler, who is me. And I'm the funner of the two. Well, maybe not. Yeah.
Probably not. We're awful happy.
We are.
This Sunday morning.
This is a very, excuse me.
Yes.
It's a good day.
So I know before the show started, we were talking about sellers and listings.
Oh my God! Not again. No, I don't have to go over. I don't have to go over that same stuff. Just please list your house, okay? So I don't have to talk about this anymore.
But also the fact that the realtor that lists your home can also help you find a new home.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we were talking about was the fact that, and you, Evie, I know you and I talked about this, about how so many realtors didn't want to work with buyers.
Right. Which amazes me. What for the listeners, what started the whole conversation is I was telling Charlie that, I meet with so many real estate agents and they see me as just wanting to work with buyers, and they'll wind up popping off to me, oh, well, I just do listings. And I say to those realtors, that's great, because I've got programs for your sellers as well. And then we launched into a whole conversation as to, why would a realtor only want to do listings and not work with the buyers as well?
Well, in real estate utopia, that's all you would do would be work with listings, because you get the listing. I mean, you go in, you get the listing. You keep that person up to date,
right?
If you have a team like I do, you have other people keeping them up to date. So you get the listing, you market it, you do everything you can to sell it. But here's a secret to that. Is, I think my high ever was, most listings I ever had was 220 at one time.
Oh my gosh.
And so, and I think right now we're nowhere near that high. I think we're around 60 right now.
Right.
But the thing is, when I'm working with a buyer,
yes,
I can only work with that. Well, I've got to spend my time with that buyer, showing homes, and I personally enjoy that. But I understand the theory is, those listings, and this has happened. I have been on the Vegas Strip and got calls that I've had big listings sell, because I've got the way our system works. For those that don't know, everybody in the board of realtors, which includes all your larger companies and smaller companies for that matter, ERA, Tucker, Keller Williams, Remax, Berkshire Hathaway, Foles, Gammon, and on. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm sure I'm going to hear from somebody I didn't mention now.
Is the other one.
Right. Weichert. And there's 70 or 80 companies.
Right.
Total. And all those have access. If those of you that have seen that blue box on the front of a house that's for sale, we've all got a code to that house. It's actually, now we used to have a little box. Now it's on an app on our phone,
yes,
like everything else is. And so I could show, as you mentioned, I can show Weichert's house listings. Weichert could show my listings, and we just split the commission. So that way people, they can have their realtor, and they don't have to get a different realtor every time they look at a Tucker listing or an ERA or a Keller Williams or a Weichert or so on and so on.
Right.
And
Do you think there's more of that now that people are looking on Zillow and Realtor.com that they hop from Realtor to Realtor?
oh yeah, and I think it not only Truly and and Zillow and Realtor.com, a lot of the bigger including myself, I do this. We buy Google AdWords too, so we got Google AdWords placed out there.
Okay.
And don't ask me exactly how this works.
Okay.
I don't know. I pay people to do that, but we've got a company called FirePoint
Yes.
that handles this for us, and which Waterstone's involved with it.
Right.
And they come back and we get leads from that.
Yes.
From where they have strategically placed these, and we'll get, I don't know, 100 leads a month,
Right.
roughly. So now the interesting thing about that is the internet leads conversion ratio is lower because you get a lot of people just looking.
Yes.
So you hope for 7 to 10% return on
Right.
the internet leads. Probably the highest that we track as far as our internet leads, Zillow.
Yes.
Zillow has a pretty good return for us. And but yeah, the internet leads are going to be lower, and it's kind of like what you were talking about earlier, Evie, about nurturing a client. Okay, the studies show that the internet lead is going to take 9 months for them to buy.
Yes.
So realtors, being creatures of instant gratification, if those people don't buy in a month or two, they're on to somebody else or other people.
Right.
Whereas you need to stay in touch with that people. And today it's easy because you've got all this stuff online where you can build a drip campaign that continually sends them updates.
Yes.
And in their email. So it's not like it used to be where you had to call them all the time.
Right.
And you should call them. Don't get me wrong. You should call them from time to time. But there's plenty of other ways to keep up with them now.
And I think your team is very, very good at staying in contact with people and sending them emails and texting them. Everybody has their own form of communication now, how they like to communicate best. And, but your people, whether it's Jamie Keller or Darren Albin or Mindy Malinsky, I mean, they do a fabulous job with reaching out to people right away whenever they get notification that someone's interested in a house and would like a showing. Your people are all over it.
They do a good job. They do. Now, not just with my people. One of the things that drives me, as some of you may know, I'm half owner of the local Keller Williams franchise also.
Yes.
But one of the things that drives me crazy, and probably more so on my team than anywhere else, is I'll say, call so-and-so and tell them it's somebody that they're working with. And when I walk away, I can hear those keys clicking. And I'm, and if anybody's listening that, I've sold over $300 million worth of real estate in my career. So, there's still certain, I text and I email, but there are certain things that you need to say face to face.
I completely agree.
Because there's an inflection you want there.
Yes.
There is, and it just doesn't work the same with text and email. And if you've got something important to say to your client, don't say it by text. And I don't care if it's bad news.
Right.
If it's bad news, it's going to get worse if you text them.
Yes. And I think in any occupation in the business world, that's a good point to make, because I recently had a loan this past week that I was concerned everybody thought it was going to close on the closing date that was written on the purchase agreement. But the reason why it's not closing on the day on the purchase agreement is because they wound up having counter offers while they were negotiating back and forth. And I didn't get the purchase agreement until 4 to 5 business days after that first date. So I did not want to send an email to the realtors or to my buyer and have it come across as being rude or whatever, that we weren't going to make the closing date. So I made sure to pick up the phone and call the selling agent, the listing agent, and say, hey, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. And I think if I would have tried to email that, they might have shot me something off right away. Why aren't we going to make the closing date? Versus we had the conversation and they could hear I was easygoing about it and just wanted to make sure that there was no confusion with it.
But and I appreciate the nice thing you said about my team, but and I'm not just saying you are, as far as follow-up goes, you're as good as any loan officer I've ever seen.
Thank you.
I mean, your follow-up is just unreal. Yeah.
Well, everybody wants to know what's going on.
That's your strong point. I mean, honestly, I'm being honest.
Thank you.
Of the stuff I see, that's your strongest point is your follow-up.
I just believe, you've got a buyer that's a nervous wreck because they're having to, they're moving their home. Mm-hmm. And it's a major priority in their life.
Biggest financial purchase many people will ever make.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So they want to be in the know. They need to be kept in the loop as to what's going on. They don't have to know all the back office stuff that I deal with. I get involved wherever it's necessary. But for the buyer, it's my job to maintain calm whenever I talk to them and let them know everything's going to be okay. And if there's an issue, tell them how we're going to conquer that issue. For the realtors, we're all in the business, so we all don't get paid until we close the deal. So the realtors want to make sure that they're going to receive their commission in a timely fashion.
Right.
And they want to know that the loan's going to close. There's no issues with it. You do have to be a good communicator if you're sitting in my seat. And
you're right. The client, we all have things that don't always go right. And that's what the clients are paying us for.
Yes.
It's kind of like something I heard Warren Buffett say once. He talked about before he got so big, he had a private company.
Right.
He let people withdraw money from that company one day a year. And that's the only time they could withdraw. And he had, just like he does, they had fabulous returns.
Right.
And they asked him, why did you only let people withdraw one day a year? He said, I'm like the golfer. I don't want them to see it when I hit it in the woods.
Yes.
When I hit it in the water, only thing I want them to do is look at my scorecard.
Right.
When it's done.
Right.
That's all I care about.
Right.
And that's the same thing you're saying.
Yes.
That's how you want to be judged, is how you got the job done in the end.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I think Waterstone, we have a team of people as well. So no, my buyer might not talk to me every time. There's different phases of the loan process, and they might talk to my loan partner, Lori, or my loan processor, Karen. But, we're going to give them the best customer service possible. And, like I was saying, we'll let them know if there's any issues. I was kind of floored recently. I was talking to a realtor who was telling me about a lot sale that they had done. We are not the lender. It's one of the other local mortgage lenders in the Evansville area. But the realtor had the sale of the lot, and the people were going to go ahead and, do a construction loan with it so they could start their building process. And he was telling me that it had already been 60 days that the loan had been going with this mortgage lender, and that the mortgage lender had just asked to extend for another 15 days for this construction loan. And every time he talked to the mortgage lender, whenever he would reach out to the mortgage lender was always blaming it on the underwriter. And
realtors are convinced that that's what the mortgage lenders, when they don't know what to say, they just blame
it's
it on
the underwriter's fault.
So they know we can't talk to the underwriter, so we can't prove them wrong.
And that is a very easy out, to blame it on the mortgage underwriter. But one, it should never take 75 days to close a loan unless there's just this massive issue that everybody's aware of. You know, it's not the underwriter asking for more. If you are a well-seasoned mortgage lender, you know what's involved in that transaction. You know what you have to get to the underwriter, and maybe the underwriter does see a few things differently than what you expected.
Right.
But it should never take 75 days. And, you know, a good
For a
mortgage
lot sale?
For a lot sale with a construction loan together.
Yeah, seems a little excessive.
a little, because even with a government loan, you know, which are known to take longer because you might be dealing with the VA or you might be dealing with the USDA. But even those loans, Waterstone should only take 30 to 45 days. If there's a major issue, you need to be in the loop as to what the issue is and say to your lender, okay, what's really going on in all this? You know?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how we got off on
I don't know.
We were talking about buyers, you know, we went off on this, you know.
Yeah, to finish that off, and then also ask yourself, why didn't you finance with Evie Barr at Waterstone Mortgage?
Exactly. And how and at least, and if they want to finance with Evie, how can they get a hold of you?
They can give me a call at 812-463-3199 or email me at ebar@waterstonemortgage.com.
Great. And so, yes, I kind of think we left the whole buyer conversation in the middle. But we love working with buyers.
Yes.
There are, yes, we love, seller listings drive everything because you got to have listings. Okay. I mean, I'm not, but we also work with buyers. We've got, Darren Albin and Jamie Keller and Minnie Malinsky who do a great job with buyers. Give them a call at 812-430-1708. They will be glad. They'd be glad to help you. Sit down, do a consultation with you. It's all for free. So we don't get paid from a buyer standpoint. We don't get paid unless we find you a house, and from a seller standpoint, we don't get paid unless we sell your house. So. So Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Thanksgiving and Christmas, actually,
yes,
for that matter. And I'm looking forward to the holidays. Looking forward to having a great holiday. But unfortunately, we've got people out there who are struggling.
Yes,
and who do need some help. And this is a great time to reach out to your favorite charity. And Evie, we were talking about this off the air. You had mentioned one that I know you're a part of.
Yes, I'm part. I volunteer at Evansville Emergency Food Pantry, the Nativity Church location, one Wednesday a month. But I know they're definitely in need of canned foods and non-perishable items. And of course, money is always good too. I know that, they do go and purchase items cheaper from, whether it be the Tri-State Food Pantry or, say Walmart or, Big Lots, wherever. But, remember your fellow man, I guess is the best way to put right now during the holiday season, the cold months, that if you have an opportunity to give, whether it be to the food pantry or to, the toy drives, whatever for kids, now's the time to do that.
It's a great time to do it. And let's be thankful for what we have and try to help others have something. Again, call Charlie Butler team 812-430-1708.
Or Evie Barr at 812-463-3199.
Okay, thanks everyone, and have a great Sunday. This is Charlie Butler with Evie Barr and Bobby G. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler. Join us every week at this time to find out how to sell your home quickly and for more money. For more information, email cbutler@kw.com or visit charliebutlerteam.com.